Even though Hilary is weakening, it is tracking northward right towards California, bringing the potential for life-threatening rainfall, landslides, and extreme floods. So I've got all the information on that using graphics from NOAA and some of my own, and I'm also going to be covering these 5 Atlantic disturbances and tell you which ones you need to worry about and which ones you don't. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get right into that cone for us with Hilary. You can see it's moving on off towards the north and pushing right along the western coast of Baja California Peninsula for us. The hurricane warning is right along the west central coast, with other areas of Baja California under a tropical storm warning, but new today, Los Angeles down to San Diego now under that warning for tropical storm force winds to move on in, and that is of sustained manner. Up to 60% chance of those tropical storm force winds to push on into Southern California. That's a likelihood, which means that is why that tropical storm warning has been issued since then. You can see the earliest reasonable arrival time of those tropical storm force winds is really going to be as we head towards early Sunday morning around 8, 9, 10 a.m. for us here. So let's go ahead and start by playing this out. Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific time for us. This is right about now, heading into the evening hours. You can see some of these rainfall totals already starting to stack on up into California, portions of southern Nevada, as well as western Arizona. You can see the system weakening a bit as it pushes northward, but nonetheless, as we go towards 10 p.m. Pacific time, heavy storms, hurricane force winds along Baja California. As you wake up Sunday morning along the west coast, we're going to start to see some of the rain pushing on in. So if you live anywhere from Los Angeles up into the mountains northeast of town, southern Nevada, you need to be prepared for this life-threatening flooding. If you live in a landslide-prone zone, you might want to be spending the night somewhere else tonight, honestly. Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, this is when the rain really hits its heaviest peak for us here. But you don't really want to be driving at all on Sunday. So if you're just in your house, then you just need to be staying there during the day, have everything you need to eat for the day. You might lose power due to the gusty winds and rain pairing up, and you can see that heavy shower coverage continuing to bank right on up against those mountains as we head towards 9 p.m. Pacific time. This rain really tapers off in this zone as we go overnight Sunday night and into Monday morning, leaving a calmer start to the day other than a few spotty showers. Now, heavy rain will be the main threat for us here. Totals to 12 inches. That is a foot of rain possible. Anywhere you see the orange, that's where I'd be most concerned about those heavy totals. But even in the dark green, this is unprecedented rainfall for this time of the year. 2 to 4 inches is enough to cause that flooding in this area, at least for us here. You might not say that in the East Coast, but on the West Coast, this is dangerous rainfall, which is why this is enough to trigger that level 4 flood threat coming right down from the San Diego area on up into portions of the California mountains there. And then you can see the level 3 flood risk is going to go all the way on up into Nevada, and the main timing for that flooding is going to be late Sunday and into Sunday night. Here's another look at something else. Here's wind gusts to 60 miles per hour that will be moving in. Anywhere you see the pinkish yellow shade for us popping up on your screen in southern Cal as this pushes north, that's going to be where we're most concerned about these gusts to hit 60 miles per hour. But even as these move into mountains in Nevada, we could see some 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts push on in. But that is why that tropical storm warning is there in the southwestern coast there of California, because that's where we're looking at the best chance of those sustained tropical storm force winds to arise. Now let's do a timing, intensity, duration, and event type of breakdown for us here. And actually, let's start with the type of this. This is going to be a tropical storm with heavy rainfall moving, and we know that clearly, as you can see on your screen. Now, in terms of the intensity of this system, the wind risk is going to be medium, the flood risk is going to be the high concern, and the tornadoes are going to be kind of an isolated threat that we're going to be watching out for here. And a brief tornado will be possible on your Sunday, as you can see those eastern bands of the storm that you may have seen when I was playing it out just a bit ago. Those will push on up into far eastern California, far southern Nevada, as well as into many portions of western Arizona, west of the Phoenix area, which is why we're worried about some of the tornadoes to spin up there with the rotation built in with that storm. In terms of your duration, minor impacts from heavy rain already imminent. We've got the gradual increase in those rain rates, and that will cause the major flooding as we go into your Sunday. The gusty wind threat and rain will be the most dominant duo, though, as we go towards Sunday evening. So really, if you need to change locations, you're going to want to do that now. If you're staying put, which is a good option for many people, just to stay put, and if you do have to drive, you're going to have to turn around, don't drown. But if you are staying put, make sure you have what you need right now. And then in terms of an explanation, this high-pressure dome over the Midwest is causing the low to move into the southwest. The low will bring flooding, gusty winds, and perhaps a tornado. So again, you can see that high-pressure dome just sitting right there over the midwestern part of the country. The clockwise winds around that mean southerly winds are to the west of it, and that is exactly why this system is moving out of the Pacific and in a rare occurrence for us here into the southwest coast. So preparations for flooding impacts should be completed as soon as possible as this heavy rain begins. well in advance of the system, and we're already seeing this pick on up for your Saturday evening here. Hurricane conditions are expected to continue and develop over the Baja California Peninsula. The system is weakening, though, but that doesn't matter. Weakening systems spread out more. We get more of that rain to spread out over these larger areas, which is why anywhere from Arizona all the way on over into southern Nevada, even up above that into places like Idaho, we'll see some enhanced rainfall out of this. Utah getting in on this as well. And of course, we'll get some very big waves to hit the west coast out of this. Now let's switch gears to the Atlantic. We're very busy with 5 systems for us here. 3 of these are in the medium risk. You can see one of those moving towards the Gulf and the one in the Caribbean. Those are the ones I'm watching the closest. Now, the one with the 50% chance that you see right there now has been upgraded to a 70% chance. Still not a major concern, though. I'll show you why in just a minute. 70% chance there, just northeast of that as well. And then a new 20% chance coming off of Africa. Those 2 right there that I've got the arrows pointing at, again, those are the unconcerning waves and invast because they're pushing off towards the northwest and around that high pressure like we see happen in the Atlantic. They're going to get chopped away by cold fronts coming on in. Wind shear will take them apart. Nothing to worry about there. The one that I do want to worry about for here, at least a little bit, is this 50% chance of development coming to life in the Gulf for us here. It's really not a system quite yet. It's just starting as a weak wave with enhanced rainfall. So this is including places like Cuba, southern Florida. We're getting in on this in the Bahamas, but it's really pushing west of the Bahamas for us there. You can see the Florida Keys getting in on some heavy rainfall. Enhanced afternoon thunderstorms, enhanced levels of humidity. This is not a significant threat to Florida or Cuba, though, I will tell you that. It's not like we haven't seen major tropical systems move through there like Ian last year. They can definitely handle this there in Florida. This pushes west, but generally offshore for us into our Monday. You can see this rainfall sitting over the Gulf of Mexico. You might see those dark clouds from places like Louisiana, the southeast Texas coast for us here. But I can tell you, most areas, Houston and along that I-10 corridor there on the Gulf Coast, will stay rain-free out of this system other than a few spotty showers. Notice how we start to see this system look like it's trying to get its act together, but it's still pretty much just a messy blob, you might want to call it, as that brief development is possible before our landfall as we go into our Tuesday. Again, Tuesday is going to be your August 21st for you here. And there's that weak area of spin. This is looking for, some of those storm energy areas. And you can see that little red cluster there moving into the western Gulf. Notice how it's decently tight circulation. There's some other messy blobs on this map, including the one in the Caribbean I'll talk about in a minute. But this one right here is a little bit tight, which is why that chance of development is 50-50 for us. And I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up. We might at least see a depression. I wouldn't expect this to get much past a weak tropical storm at best, though. The big concern with this will, yes, be the rain, but again, that rainfall is going to be 1 to 3 inches, and this is in an area that gets more rain than the west coast, so they can handle this in general. But nonetheless, rainfall of 1 to 3 inches could briefly cause some flash flooding. So turn around, don't drown. But this should be a pretty decent system to get by really quickly for us here and not be too concerned about if this is taken the right way. And then here comes a new storm. This is the Caribbean development area, and this might arguably be the most concerning one for you guys there in places like Haiti and the Dominican Republic. I know I call this one nation weather, but of course I'm concerned about all interests out there in the Atlantic. Days of heavy rain will be coming to Haiti and the Dominican Republic, regardless of whether this develops or not. So this is that one. We're getting that medium chance of development, and that chance of development will increase as this pushes north. But a front we got almost a week ago pushing off the east coast is the reason that this is just going to stall out here. And the very concerning rain totals from this storm will be my main issue out of this. By Friday, August 25th, up to a foot of rain will have fallen on places like Haiti and Dominican Republic, especially on the eastern part of the island, as the models indicate. But regardless, this is going to be at least a few inches of rain. I think 3 to 6 inches will be a very common, widespread total. This needs to be taken very seriously, and those who are in low-lying areas definitely need to hopefully get to a higher location if possible, or stay, inside as this moves overhead and the flooding continues. So, like, subscribe, comment. Here are the credits, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me on this busy day.